where we support community and sound money globally. You're watching this because somebody that loves and cares about you wants you to understand what's really going on beneath the surface of the markets. And I'm going to show you that there is a major shift that puts any wealth that you're holding in the stock market in jeopardy. So let's just dive right in. We're going to do this really quickly because we've been watching the markets making new highs, new highs, new highs. The S&P 500 is actually a great example of that. And also as it goes from 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000. I was there on Black Monday in '87 as a stockbroker, and I remember what that looked like, felt like, smelt like, tasted like, and it's kind of feeling very similar to that, or that it's coming up. So let me show you a little bit of history and how long it took to move through that, okay? And the money supply that the government has put out. So what you're looking at is the number of days to hit a new $1,000 level. At the same time, the FRED is the Federal Reserve Education Department, and this is the M2 money supply. So we're going to go from the first one. As you can see right here, these are coordinated. So it took all this time from 99 to 2014 to make it from 1,000 to 2,000, and that was the money supply growth. Next, it took a lot less time to get from 2,000 to 3,000, but the money supply growth was even faster. And what happened during 2020, during the pandemic, with all of that new money printing, well, it didn't take hardly any time at all for the market to go from 3,000 to 4,000. Slowed down just a little bit. And actually what you're seeing is also a pattern shift. So the markets are making new highs, but there is a shift that's occurring, and this is about wealth transfer. It's always about wealth transfer. You can go all the way back to 2000 and you don't really see a pullback in the money supply until just recently. They can make things look however they want to because these are all just contracts and it's easy enough to manipulate them. But you need to know, period, that a contracting money supply is deflationary and imperils, it creates risk in the stock market. So if that's where you hold your wealth, you need to understand that this pattern shift is a crisis warning and take heed. Here's another example of that, which are the central banks' balance sheets. The Bank of Japan, the Fed, and the ECB. The red are their balance sheets. The blue is the S&P 500. And can you see how coordinated that has been? Okay, but there was a shift that was occurring. And in June of 22, the Fed would tell everybody Wall Street what they were going to do. And that's why you see this so coordinated. But all of a sudden in June of 2022, the Fed said one thing and did another, and the markets learned that they couldn't trust them. And since then, look at the shift, the pattern shift that is occurring there now. This tells you there is risk transfer that's happening and a crisis on the horizon, even if you don't fully understand it. I can tell you, being a long-term in the markets, this pattern shift makes me very, very nervous. But it is the big tech mania that's driving the developed markets to new record highs because there's such a concentration in these stocks. So they're throughout the ETFs and mutual funds and your pension plans and your 401k and your variable annuities everywhere. But you're looking at it, you're opening your statement and going, well, everything must be okay. And after all, fear of missing out, FOMO, aids that risk transfer because you're seeing one thing, but you're not seeing what's really happening. What's really happening is the loss of purchasing power, because every single time the central bank does this, the purchasing power value of what is out there goes down. And that's what you're looking at. Remember, the Fed is the Federal Reserve Education Department. You can look at these links on your own. So the Federal Reserve is telling you that they are pushing the value, the purchasing power value of your currency down. This is likely to be the most truth that you're going to get out of the Fed because their job is to keep you inside of the system and make that risk transfer really easy. But all the market manipulation, it's just about hiding this, the loss of value, because historically every single fiat currency, every single one goes to zero over time. And we're very close to that now. But you got to ask yourself, if the fiat money, if this stuff buys you nothing, does it really matter how high the stock market goes? Because all you can do is convert it into something that has no value. That's quickly in your 5-minute window. And I hope you understand that you need to understand more. You need to do your due diligence and not take anybody's word for anything. Because together we can make a difference. We can build this global community and say no. And until next we meet, please be safe out there. Bye-bye.